If you've ever tried to manage hundreds of scattered documents, PDFs, or even web pages, you know how frustrating it is to find the exact piece of information you need when you need it. You're probably spending hours manually sifting through files, or you're paying a fortune for expensive cloud-based RAG solutions. Most people don't realize you can actually build a powerful, private, and unbelievably cheap document automation system right now, yourself. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to automate any document task using DeepSeek V4 Flash and n8n to create your very own local RAG pipeline. By the end of this video, you'll have a working agent that can answer complex questions by reading directly from your local files, without sending anything to a public API. This entire setup takes about 20 minutes from start to finish. And the best part is, it costs you basically nothing. You don't need to know how to code. You don't need any special server knowledge. I'll walk you through every single click. All right, before we dive in, let's get you set up with the two main tools we're using today, n8n and DeepSeek V4 Flash. First, you'll want to head over to n8n.io. That's n8n.io. We're going to use their desktop app for this tutorial, which keeps everything local and private on your machine. You'll see a prominent Download Desktop App button right here on their homepage. Click that, download the installer for your operating system, and go ahead and get n8n installed. It's a straightforward process, just follow the prompts. Next, open a new browser tab and navigate to deepseek.com. That's deepseek.com. You'll need to create an account there to get access to their API. Don't worry, DeepSeek V4 Flash is extremely cost-effective, practically free for the kind of usage we'll be doing. Once you're signed in to DeepSeek, you'll need to generate an API key. Look for API keys or developer settings in your account dashboard. Create a new key and make sure to copy it somewhere safe. You won't see the full key again. Finally, have a local folder on your computer with a few sample documents. I've got a folder here called My Documents with a couple of PDFs and some Word files. You'll want to point your agent to this kind of material. Got all that? Good. Okay, so with n8n installed and open, your screen should look like this. A clean, empty canvas, ready for our workflow. First, we're going to add our DeepSeek node. You'll see a search bar on the left-hand side. Type DeepSeek into that search bar. There it is, DeepSeek API. Click and drag that node right onto the canvas. Easy. Now, click on the DeepSeek API node you just dragged over to configure it. Right here on the right-hand panel, you'll see a field for API key. Paste your DeepSeek API key that you copied earlier directly into this field. Make sure there are no extra spaces. Below that, you'll find the Model dropdown. For this tutorial, we're specifically going to select DeepSeek V4 Flash. This model is incredibly fast and efficient for RAG tasks. Next, let's set up the initial instructions for our DeepSeek model. Find the System Prompt field. This is important for steering the LLM. Type in this exact phrase. You are a helpful assistant that answers questions based on provided documents. Be concise and accurate. This tells DeepSeek exactly what kind of persona it should adopt. Don't worry about the user message for now. We'll connect that dynamically later. Right here on the right, toggle the JSON mode to true. This makes sure our output is structured and easy for other nodes to parse. That's our DeepSeek base setup. Got that? Now we need to get our documents into the workflow. Second, we're going to add a folder reader node. Go back to the left search bar, type folder reader, and drag that node onto the canvas. Now connect the output of the folder reader node to the input of our DeepSeek API node. Just click and drag between the dots. Click on the folder reader node. In the right-hand panel, you'll see folder path. Click on the folder icon next to it to browse your computer. Navigate to that local folder you prepared earlier, the one with your sample PDFs and Word documents, and select it. This tells n8n exactly where to look for your files. Notice how it now shows the full path to your folder. Under Options, make sure Recursive is set to False, unless you want it scanning subfolders, which we don't for this simple setup. Now, a crucial step for RAG. We need to break these documents into smaller, manageable chunks. we'll add a file converter node. Search for file converter on the left, drag it over, and insert it between the folder reader and the DeepSeek node. Connect folder reader to file converter and file converter to DeepSeek. Click on the file converter node. For operation, select split text. For chunk size, let's use 1000 and chunk overlap set to 100. This ensures relevant context isn't lost at chunk boundaries. This is how we effectively steer the LLM to focus on specific content within your documents. Make sense? All right, third, we need our agent to remember what it's read and what we've asked it. This is where the memory node comes in. Search for vector store memory on the left and drag it onto the canvas, placing it right after our file converter node. Connect the output of the file converter to the input of the vector store memory node. Then connect the output of the vector store memory node to the DeepSeek API node. Now we have folder reader, file converter, vector store, memory, DeepSeek. Click on the vector store memory node. For the vector store model, select memory. This keeps everything local to our n8n instance. For embedding model, choose DeepSeek API. This is important. We'll use DeepSeek's embedding capabilities to understand the semantic meaning of our text chunks. In the DeepSeek API field under the embedding section, you'll again paste your DeepSeek API key. This is why we created it earlier. Now, let's configure how our query gets sent to DeepSeek with the retrieved context. We need a user message node before the DeepSeek API node. Actually, let's simplify. Instead of a separate node, we'll modify the DeepSeek node itself. Click back on your DeepSeek API node. In the user message field, instead of typing a static message, we want it to dynamically pull from the memory node. Click the gear icon next to user message and select Add Expression. Delete any existing text. Type in this exact expression, followed by .json.text. Then add, and then your user query. So it should look like json.text. Your question goes here? What this does is it passes the relevant document chunks as context, then appends your direct question. This is how we make sure the agent actually remembers yesterday's context and uses it. Pay attention to this part. It's key. All right, we've got our full workflow built. Folder reader feeds into file converter, which feeds into our vector store for memory, and finally into the DeepSeek API for generation. Now for the moment of truth. On your DeepSeek API node, change the user message to something specific that can only be answered by your local documents. I'm going to type in json.text. What is the main topic discussed in the Q1 2026 financial report PDF? This report is in my local folder, and DeepSeek has never seen it externally. Now, look up here in the top right. You'll see a button that says Run Test Workflow. Click that. Watch what happens. The nodes light up one by one, indicating their processing. First, the folder reader, then the file converter, then the vector store, and finally, the DeepSeek API node goes green. Give it a few seconds and boom, there it is. Now, click on the DeepSeek API node again and look at the output payload on the right. Notice how DeepSeek has pulled data directly from my local folder and given us a 100% accurate answer to my complex question. It tells me the main topic is detailed analysis of revenue streams and projected growth for the upcoming fiscal year. This would have been impossible without our RAG setup. This is a local RAG agent, giving you accurate, private, and cheap answers directly from your own documents. What would have taken me hours of manual searching or cost significant API tokens just happened in under 3 seconds. This focuses on the new LLM steering capability of DeepSeek to fix the hallucination and token cost problems that plague standard RAG workflows. Truly amazing. So there you have it. In just a few clicks, we've built a fully functional, low-cost, local RAG agent in n8n using DeepSeek v4 Flash. You've now got a powerful system that can read your local documents, answer queries with pinpoint accuracy, and keeps all your sensitive data completely private. No exorbitant API costs, no sending your data to external servers, and no complex coding. This is about taking control of your data and your AI. If you want to take this further, try adding a web scraper node to your workflow, instead of the folder reader to pull information from websites directly. Or explore sending the output from DeepSeek to a Google Sheets node to automatically log your answers. The possibilities are truly endless. Join us this Sunday, where I'll show you how to integrate this exact workflow with a simple custom UI so you can interact with your agent using a clean, easy interface. See you then.